Oh, yes. If you're hearing that music or listening to that music, Pete, it's the Brazil Expat Journal. And we're on live. It's Monday. How are you, people? How are you, Pete?
Same as always. Not good, but alive.
That is good to be alive. To be alive is to have another chance to make it all good. And we're moving in that direction. Guys, we have a great guest on tonight. She's backstage. It's Dr. Kimberly Oneness. And she wrote a book that we will talk about in just a little bit. But before we get there, I do want to mention a few things that I feel are kind of pertinent that are happening here in Brazil. And one of them is that the United States has now designated Brazilian gangs as terrorist organizations. Sorry about that little with my mouth there. So now it kind of gives the U.S. some authority to come down here and maybe do stuff, which is something that Imada, a friend of the show, has always been kind of, in my ear about because she was very afraid when that stuff went down in Venezuela and how much authority the U.S. felt it had to just go into another country and, you know, kidnap its leader and all this, that, and the third. Very authoritarian to say the least. So I've always been on the side of like, man, Brazil's like not even on the US's radar for much. Like, I doubt we'll see like US troops on the ground or anything like that in Brazil. But this does kind of just create a bit of a rift, which it seemed like Lula and Trump, for whatever reason, strange bedfellows, but for whatever reason, they were really getting along. And I'm like, you know what? I'm for that. Like, I want people getting along more than the other way around, regardless of who it is, Trump, Lula, whoever. You know how I am. I'm an equal opportunity hater. But
Populists are all the same, man.
yeah, and they kind of end up meeting in the middle, right? Like they get so extreme to whatever side they're
If
on
you
that
go
it ends.
far enough left, you'll meet someone who's gone far enough right to reach the same place
Exactly.
you are.
Because when they were gonna meet, I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be it." Because Lula was like really pumping his chest, months before that, especially with what happened in Venezuela. And I'm like, "All right, this is gonna be like really clash of the titans and whatever." And then they were like, I don't know, setting up churrascos, like best buddies. Like what? But this kind of puts a little bit of a strain on that relationship. So hopefully it doesn't strain too much because it is a bit worrisome. I left America for a reason. Um, and then another story that I think is very important for who lives down here and anybody that's really paying attention to the economy and work and price of things is the change by congressional, legislation of the work week. Before Brazilians had a 6 day work week with 1 day off, and that was going to be 4 day work week with 2 days off. I think that I got that right, right? And yeah, so they're going to end that schedule. You can see there on the screen. And again, what effect is that going to have economically? We're not sure. It's going to be a rollout period. It's about 60 days. Uh, when things get legislated into place, it's always worrisome because you never know like how certain sectors are going to take that because not every sector can take the brunt of something like that happening.
No,
And
some sectors are like 7 days a week, 48
yes,
hours.
yes, I know. So it's going to benefit some and not others. So we'll just see what that result is going to be as far as price of things. That's all I'm saying. It's almost like if you kind of make a federal, what do you call it? The living wage, or something like that. Certain places are going to be able to handle that. Other places aren't. Not every place is equal economically. Not every company is equal economically.
Yeah,
So
I
we
mean
shall.
the financial sector can't handle that. The financial sector is like a 7 day a week job.
Exactly. So it's interesting because Brazil is one of the few countries. I think it's only two countries in the world that have done this through legislation. Most of the time, it's done more through bargaining, collective bargaining and things like that,
Yeah,
work week, and even
but that's the Lula influence.
yeah, that is the Lula influence. But at the same time, victory for the workers. Like I'm always split with things like this because I 100% understand how hellish it is for the average Brazilian workers and their heroes, like for real. Like they're the backbone of the country. But at the same time, things like this can also hurt them because it can mean a company will say, "Hey, I can't afford to have this, so I need to fire
Yeah,
somebody."
yeah,
Or
yeah, dude. Just today, I was interviewing a guy who worked for Cisco, the tech company, and the reason I was interviewing him, he was replaced by AI.
oh boy, so many people being replaced by AI. Remember with McDonald's, that was an issue with McDonald's because they kind of had to
Yeah,
they upped the minimum wage, and McDonald's like, well, it's cheaper to put those tokens up. So now you go to McDonald's here in Brazil, there's not even one person
yeah.
sometimes.
You don't deal with people.
You can't,
Well,
yeah, you
you
can't
do.
say
That's
that.
the annoying thing. They still have the people, but you have to deal with the machines too. So you place your
Yes,
order in the machines, but then you get your food from the people. So
exactly.
I don't exactly see how that's become more convenient.
I don't know, but just be aware that that may affect prices and unemployment, and I don't know. We shall see. I'm always hopeful for the best with things like that because I do support, like I said, things that benefit workers, especially in Brazil, because man, it's slave labor sometimes. The things that go, not sometimes, a lot of the times, the things that go down here, and how badly they are paid. But at the same time, we want to keep things moving, the engine moving, so that these people also have jobs. So we shall see, we shall see, we shall see, guys. And just one final note, because next week I'm thinking about doing a soccer episode. I've been meaning to do one for a very long time, and the
Oh,
friend of the
goody.
show, he mentioned it, so we shall see. And because it's the World Cup's coming, and
I
so
know.
Neymar's
I,
there, and we wish him the best. We hope he's not on the ground most of the time. He already started bad, unfortunately, because he's gonna miss the first game. So but I wish him the best. I wish him the best. I wish he had been a better ambassador for the country, though. Unfortunately, not the best. Anyway, enough about that because tonight we're going to talk to Dr. Kimberly Oneness. She's a longtime American professor of business communication. And on April 2026, Dr. Oneness published her first children's book. It's entitled Stars in My Skin. Guys, I read this book this morning and I was nearly in tears. It is so beautiful. But anyway, since its release, this book has been on Amazon's #1 new release. It's also on the top new release in children's biology books. Yes, there's a STEM science connection. That's the part that made me cry actually. And I'm such a nerd with that stuff, right? Top new release in children's book on prejudice and racism, and it's so well done, guys. So we're gonna talk about her journey towards writing this book, and also about her time down here in Brazil and how she sees, race down here, representation down here. If she got any vibe for that because she was down here for 6 months back in 2020. Hello, Kimberly. How are you? Welcome to the show. There you are. You're on. How are you?
you can say something now.
Yes. Uh-oh. Audio issues. She will be on soon, but while she's
Hello,
getting, oh,
Peter.
there she is. There
Are you
she is. There
speaking
she
to
is.
me?
There we are.
Yes, Kimberly. How are you?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can. No,
Okay,
we're
great.
live. We're live. I just introduced you in the book, and I wanted to ask you a little bit of what inspired you to write it. Oh, we're having audio issues. She is not responding. I don't know what happened with her audio, but Well, she's getting that settled, guys. I'll tell you a
All
little bit.
right. So while we're
Yes.
waiting for Kimberly to get
Oh,
on here,
everybody's on delay. Oh my god. Because
yeah, I read the book as well,
okay.
and I, you know, I'm not the target audience, right? Obviously,
Mhm.
you've read the book, so you know I'm not the
Yes.
target audience. Um, but I think the important thing for a book like this is that it reaches the target audience. So I'd like to ask Kimberly if she's listening or hearing, not listening, not hearing,
Yes, I
whatever.
can hear just
Oh,
fine.
there
Are
we
you
go.
able
We
Okay.
to
got
hear
it.
me? Okay, great.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
We're back. We're back.
Do you feel like your book reached the target audience?
Um, absolutely. My book is reaching the target audience. I'm very curious as to your perception that you are not the target audience.
Um, okay, well, let me tell you this. I lived in a town in China of 3 million people, and I was one of about 70 white people there. And we were subject to a lot of scrutiny, I guess you could say. You know, people would run up to us and say, hello, and run away laughing, and they would give us really hard stares. But the thing is, I was an adult, right? So I didn't have to go through that experience of having a different ethnicity when I was a young person. And I think that's what your book is aimed at. Like, your book is aimed at people who have a different ethnicity from the people around them when they are young and can't understand it.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. I can definitely relate to that because I've lived in China as well, and
Really?
definitely hyper visible from difference in China, obviously. So China is, you know, had been very much accustomed to people looking a certain way for many, many years, and then so yes, I definitely can relate to being hyper visible and having a lot of attention, scrutiny, as you called it, people very curious about this difference. And I was there with my children, so I do appreciate your comment that I experienced that as an adult. I experienced that as a child in the US, but my children experienced that as a child in China. So
Mhm.
thanks for giving me that perspective, sharing your perspective on that. But I believe that the message of Stars in My Skin, The Secret of the Ink, is that there are universal themes such as melanin, such as, and that's why I pulled in the octopus. There are things that relate universally to people. So I would agree with you that there's definitely a child would be the primary target, but I would also very much know that there is an element that anyone can connect to the story at any age, even adults.
Now,
There she
Kimberly,
is.
can you hear me?
Yes,
All
yay.
Ah,
right.
there. Okay, the show officially begins now at the 16
Let's
minute
get
mark.
it started.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness, guys. I don't know what was going on, but I was just seconding what Pete said because I felt the same that, okay, this book isn't necessarily for me in the sense of like I'm an adult now, but as I'm reading it, I'm seeing all of the lessons that are there that maybe as an adult I can impart to somebody that's younger, but your
Yes.
target audience was definitely hit with it. And I meant to ask you, is it all right if I show just a few pages from the book? Obviously, I don't want to show the
Sure,
whole
no
thing.
problem.
All right, cool.
I would love for people to see a few of the illustrations.
All right, cool. And yeah, and that's the cover right there. And that's what I really wanted to talk about is the illustration in this book, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
And
great illustrations.
no, yeah,
Thank
very
you.
emotive,
And
very
and the
emotive.
font, actually. I really like the font. The font was
Thank
really
you.
eloquent.
Thank
very
you.
lovely book in all. But I want to show, excuse me, I'm moving a bit fast here because I wanted to show this, and you did mention the octopus at first. And what surprised me the most about the book is where it went, because
Mhm.
you don't expect the story to be as magical as it is, but at the same time, it's grounded in something so real. And that leads me to my initial question, which was, what led you to write the book to kind of mix those two sides, the very grounded scientific side with that very esoteric side, which I found so lovely. Like, what brought you to that conclusion?
Thank you. I think two things. The book is dedicated to children who enjoy knowing things deeply.
Hmm.
And in my interactions with my own children and with children throughout the world, I've lived in several countries, and I find that many children have a real deep curiosity, and that their capacity to understand is sometimes greater than we tend to think. So I really had the brilliant, some of the brilliant children in mind who I love or who I've met and interacted with. And I wanted to answer their questions and curiosity about skin color difference in both a grounded scientific way as well as a more spiritual cosmic way.
Mhm.
It,
And
it,
did you
Go
have
ahead, P.
experiences when you were a child that kind of opened these questions for you?
Absolutely. So I am African American, Black American, born and raised um, in Michigan, in the U.S. Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and I've lived in 8 U.S. states, and of course, in some of those periods, I was in areas where I was different. And so skin color differences are experienced throughout the world. No particular area or city, but of course, in some areas, there is a greater emphasis on that, such as when Peter and I talked about the hypervisibility of being in places where you are not reflected in the majority of the population. So, but I would dare say, and I'm going to go a little deep here, I really stand on that this also, everyone has an inner child. We're adults, but we also have an inner child. And one of the most fascinating pieces of feedback that I'm starting to get from people is that, wow, this really spoke to me and I'm an adult. Like, this was something that I can only imagine had I thought about, skin color difference in this way as a child, how beneficial that would have been to me. So, but yes, to answer your question, Phil, I definitely and intentionally wanted to address issues on multiple levels.
And it was very beautifully done, very beautifully done. And
Thank you.
you talked about the reaction that you've had from adults. I was curious, what reaction you're getting from younger people?
Interestingly, I will just have my first set of, well, I've had 5 readings before the book was published with young children, but because of
Hmm.
the school calendar, I'll start just this week with readings in libraries and with children. But I had really great feedback from, sometimes they were group settings with children before the book went into its final publication. And definitely, they also responded on multiple levels. They absolutely resonated on both levels. On a more grounded cultural level, I think at the beginning, the number one question the young people had was, oh, what is a griot? Because, and that was anticipated. That was something I intentionally wanted to teach and convey. I knew that would be a new word to most of the students. But what has really fascinated me, they were curious about the dream scene. Multiple children talked about their grandfathers, and one 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 child even asked, well, what happened to the grandfather? So they had questions about the dreams. The very scene you're pointing to, Phil, with the octopus, they seem to have really resonated with that, and they love the octopus.
Who doesn't love a good octopus, though?
Uh,
Okay.
yes, octopi in the plural.
Octopi, yes, octopi,
No, it's
yes.
actually octopuses is the plural. I
Oh my
know
goodness.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
here we go. Ooh. Well, the last great octopus that I saw, well, there were two. One was in The Boys, but the other was in the second season of the OC, a show that got
Oh,
canceled,
you haven't seen the new Sally Field movie?
uh, which is all about dreams
uh,
and stuff. Speaking of dreams. All right, anyway,
Yeah.
let's not get on an octopi or octopuses track. Let's reel it back. Um, because I can go on tangents. So anyway, I want you to tell a little bit of the story. Just give us a little taste because I want to get into some of the themes that you bring up in kind of each part of the
Yeah,
story.
for
So is that
sure. We've
okay
been talking
if
about
you
this book for like 30 minutes and we still don't know the story. So
Oh yeah, I
tell
sure,
us
know.
the
sure.
story.
Please.
Okay, great. So, Stars in My Skin: The Secret of the Ink is a book about identity. And in this story, the main character, Zuri, is, I imagine her to be around 8 years old. She loves science. She's a very smart girl. And she gets asked a question. She's very close to her family, and she gets asked a question at school about her skin color and in comparison to other people's skin colors. And so this question sends Zuri on a journey of reflecting and searching for her own inner truth about, my why is my skin color different from others? And the beautiful, I think one of the more beautiful and empowering responses that Zuri has is she's really interested in the question. While, of course, she's annoyed, she's really,
It's
really
not an
annoyed
obnoxious
by not
question though.
knowing.
I like how
Yeah.
you frame that in the book where it's a sincere question. It's not like obnoxious, it's not
Yes.
racist.
Yeah.
It's just like curiosity.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
it was, and I think it ultimately, Zuri chooses to focus on the larger question for her, which is, I should know about my skin. So because she's very, loves to know things, perhaps she's a know-it-all, I don't know. She goes on this journey, and to summarize the story, part of her journey involves having elders, ancestors give her wisdom from a dream. And then she also gets to ask one of her family members, her auntie Melanie, who is an educator, who then teaches her the more scientific um, reasoning behind skin color differences, teaches her about melanin science. And so the book concludes with Zuri having her questions answered. The questions that was she, you know, that kind of threw her into a spin. She was very satisfied to learn and share her answer with others in her class.
And how much of Zuri do you think is you? Like how much of yourself did you put into this character?
A lot.
Okay.
I would definitely say a lot. And I would also say many of the family members are partial versions of different members of my family. But in terms of Zuri, one thing that's absolutely me is that I, even as a child, I really appreciated knowing things on a deeper level. The kid version, I could tell when someone was giving me the kid version of something. And
Yeah.
I am a seeker. Um, and I was a seeker as a child. And in my interactions with a lot of children, they don't become seekers. They're often seekers, even in a child's body.
And this is great. This is the curiosity of Zuri that I love, and that you presented so well, because it can become an emotional thing if not treated
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
And a lot of you people out there know I work with kids, and I've seen the evolution, and sometimes I like to call it a devolution, because so little is taught about just emotional intelligence, to the young folks, and they
Mhm.
can get really, really stressed out over the tiniest things, much more than I think our generation came, because we had less info.
Mhm.
Like now,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
info glut that the adults experience, usually the kids are experiencing. And I don't know if they know how to process all of that. So the tiniest little thing, like
Yes.
you should have seen my forehead when I was 14, Kimberly. Like you could connect the dots. I had so many pimples, and I went to school. I made it.
Right.
Like it was
Yes, you made
stressful,
it. Yes.
and today it's like the tiny, and so we're becoming more psychologists in the classroom than in teachers. It's complicated. So a book like this, where it's just like what Pete said, I don't think the boy was malintended, even though I was curious what, like next day, what you
Right.
gonna say to
Right.
him. But it's just a curious question. It reminds me of a story, Kim, especially it's with another friend of mine, Kimberly, and it's a cute story, and it's about when her little daughter was really young, and she was like maybe 2 or so, and there was a little black boy she was playing with, and she bit the little black boy, playfully. And she asked her, "Why did you do that?" And she's just like, "I thought he was made. I thought he was chocolate, right? Like, it was just, and
That is so wrong, man.
it's so wrong, but it's so cute at the same, like, because it's innocent. You know that it's
Right.
innocent,
Right.
right?
The child,
And
the mind of a child.
exactly. And
How
this little
wonderful the mind of a child is.
exactly, right? And I love how this little boy, he didn't become a villain or anything. It was just like, that's what it is. And the scene where she teaches him the science that she learned, which I thought was the coolest part, actually made him part of the story too. Because it's like, yeah, like the black has nothing to do with who's better, it's just like, that's where your ancestors are from. Like they came
Yes.
from the Vikings, whatever, and we came from over here, and that's it. And I really love how tranquilo, as we say here in Portuguese, you put that. It was very, very just soft landing, and it was very beautiful. And so
Thank
before,
you.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what if there was a question there. I don't know if there was. I was just kind of
I
appreciating
would,
the book.
yes,
It's
No,
just I
there
really
is no
love.
question.
I just really appreciated how you put that.
great. I would like to ask you two a question, and thank you both for reading the book. Did you notice when did you notice anything about Roger's facial features?
Oh, I did it. No, oh, now I got to
Okay.
go back.
I'm blind in
Yeah.
one eye, so asking me
Yes.
to
No.
pay
Yeah.
attention to visual
Pete,
details
I
is
did notice something else, which I do want to talk to you about, and we talked about this morning. But let me go back to Roger, because I did not. Let me see. Oh, he's got the freckles. Is that
Exactly.
okay?
And so freckles, I was going to put this in the book, but it's listed in the book. There's a teacher's guide and a parent
Oh,
or
yes,
mentoring guide
yes. I
with
wanted to mention that.
reflection questions for children. And one of the, I think, a great discussion point is feel when you said Roger, when he was listening, he realized he was a part of the story. He has freckles, and freckles are actually, in some parts of the world, referred to as melanin spots. So
Mm,
freckles are literally, and so he learns, you're absolutely right. He learns that he also has melanin,
mm-hmm.
which he may not, many people have that misconception. But the truth is, almost everyone has the cells to produce melanin. It's the separate, what's the production of melanin differs. So people have different amounts, but everyone, almost everyone, I've even in my research, some people with, who are albino even they have the cells, most have the cells to create melanin.
Yeah,
But
just a
it's the
matter.
production. Yeah, the
Yeah,
production. Something is happening with the production of it.
which just has to do with where your ancestors came
Partially,
from,
yes,
partially.
absolutely.
And then give me the
Partially,
rest. What's the
yes.
rest? What's the rest?
Well, the science of that is going to be, complicated, but I am
Mm-hmm.
just aware that there's a separate process from the cells and then the
Mm-hmm.
production of the melanin, and that it varies. It's not that all
Oh, interesting.
people who are albino, don't have cells. It's not that many of them have the cells. It's something with the production.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so I definitely, the
this is
science of it is very
very complex.
fascinating,
Yes,
very complex, but it's a human thing. It's not like some people have
exactly.
melanin and some people do not. Some people
No,
have,
everyone has melanin.
yeah, if you have whatever color your eyes are, they're different types of melanin, but, yeah. So that was, I hoped that is something that all people can take away from the book as well.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned this part in the back because I thought that was really important. It's what actually made me go, oh, we should really get this book in Brazilian bookshelves, and even try to get my boss to try to do something with this too, and have you present to some folks down here in Brazil,
That would be
because
great.
it's set up for the classroom. It's got the questions in the back, so it's a book that can be used in the classroom and should be used in the classroom to educate about these things in a very meaningful way. So I love this in the back, these study questions. And
Yes, and that's my years of being an educator showing up.
mhm, that's exactly what I thought of.
And
It. There
and
she
what
is.
exactly are you educating in? Like, what's your
Okay,
professional
so
background?
yeah, so I've been a professor of business communication, specifically organizational communication. And for the past 10 years, my last professorship ended a few months ago at University of Colorado in Boulder, where I taught in the business school, and I taught business communication courses, leadership courses, management courses, courses like that.
Nice.
I
Very,
also teach,
very cool.
have a background in cross cultural communication as well.
And let
And
me
it
ask you,
shows.
yes, and so this is your first children's book. What made you go children's book? And you say first, so is it there's going to be more? I hope.
Oh, yes. I have enjoyed this process. So I've been teaching adults and through university, through organizational consulting, training. And I've always, so much of the feedback was, when I conduct like emotional intelligence workshops, so many people would say, I wish I had learned this as a child. and
Yes.
and there were so many things, especially in cross cultural communication. I realized that so many people don't have like basic understanding of difference. They think it's all about morality, or it's all about politics, or it's all about, but some of the basic science, some of the basic, to me, the scientists can understand that difference is intentional. whether you're looking in the ocean at plants, botany, animal kingdom, differences don't just show up. Like, they're very much been a part of the universal design. Planetaries, the planets are different from one another. So this difference is intentional, and I think it's important for the younger ages to understand that this is something. Even animals, a lot of people say, I never knew that some animals had darker melanin than others. And that's another reason I brought in the octopus, because the dark ink of the octopus is literally due to melanin, and the stripes of a zebra are due
Mm.
to melanin.
And lemurs. Don't forget lemurs.
Yes, and panthers, like Black Panther,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Panthers are
Wakanda.
weird, man. They're like female lions, but male and female and black.
Yes, absolutely. And then, of course, there are some animals that are white. So it's like, these things that we struggle with as humans are such a fundamental part of universal design, and we can accept it in the animal kingdom. We can seem to easily accept it in plants and ocean life, but with, amongst ourselves, it's like, why are we different? And it's like, why wouldn't we be different? Everything
Yeah,
else.
but
Yeah,
I think the differences that come up are more cultural than they are physical.
absolutely. They are, um yes, they are primarily cultural, but accepting cultural differences can be very challenging.
Right? Like everyone has this concept of, like, I don't know what a Mexican is like, what a Chinese person is like,
Mhm.
and generally they tend to be in the ballpark, but not nuanced enough or not accurate enough to really promote any kind of cultural understanding.
And even if we take it to the family unit, even within the same a family unit with two same, I think the difference is it's difference that we sometimes struggle with, and we project it onto culture, and it's an easy way to project it. But the reality is that even within a family unit with two parents, the children can be very different, and they
Hmm.
can pretty
Mm,
much operate and have a lot of battles because their values, what they prioritize, their lifestyles might be very different, their political views might be very different. And
mhm.
so difference is going to be can be a challenge at every level, including the family, even when it's the same cultural background.
So you think, shifting to children's book, is that a way for you to say, let me already talk about this early, or as early as possible? Like, was that your thinking
Yes,
behind that?
that's part of it. Absolutely. I think children are naturally, and a wonderful thing about children is their curiosity, and so
And their
children,
innocence.
yeah, they're naturally curious. They're naturally innocent, um, and unfortunately, as they get older, society can sometimes give them, like, they start out being curious, why is your skin darker than the others, right? That's
Hmm.
curious. But as they get older, unfortunately, society can give them a more a negative
It
reason or
grinds you down.
explanation.
It grinds you down.
Yeah. And they
Yes.
provide like a ready-made explanation. Like, stop thinking about it, stop being curious, but here's the reason.
Hmm.
And so that's the beautiful thing about balancing this book theme with science, because I'm hoping that can anchor the discussion, because we don't, there's a human interpretation of why her skin is different, but it's also important to acknowledge that the science on this is very strong. There's an intentional reason that her ancestors had darker skin,
Exactly.
and that is okay, and that was intentional. It wasn't a fluke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that that is the general vibe of the book. It just is what it is. Even when we're out in the, like, it gets all dreamy and everything, but it just feels very natural. And and I want to touch on that because I liked how you talked about how it is what it is, but also it's special for her. Like every
Yes.
family is going to have some very special way to interpret what that is what it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
and she's lucky
Right?
she has
absolutely.
grandparents too. I would add that.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank
Exactly.
God, because yeah, I had no grandparents, and they obviously helped her out a lot there.
Exactly. And also one of her grandparents is a spirit guide, and it's just
Yes.
someone who's guiding the whole family. And so I wanted to talk about a little bit about the role of these two men, because there's the grandfather and then there's proud dad, which we discussed
Proud
earlier.
dad. Yes.
Right, that he's the only character that doesn't have a name in the book.
Yes,
And that's the one
absolutely.
thing I definitely noticed, like when I was reading. I was
And
like,
I'm
wait,
so glad. I
yes,
love that you noticed that. I
yes.
love it.
And so I wanted you to talk about Proud Dad a little bit, but also his connection with grandfather, and the importance of those men in this whole story.
Yes. Thank you. So the grandfather, as you said, served as a spirit guide for and just an overall protector for the family. In the
Kind of like
last
Johnny
scene,
Cash in The Simpsons.
Yes. Okay.
in the last scene, he's like literally the North Star. So he
Yes.
is somewhat the North Star of the family. He was a great storyteller, and storytelling is a huge cultural element within the story. And so the grandfather has laid a foundation for the family in terms of valuing stories, and so much so that he served as the family's griot, or story keeper, official person that family members would contact to learn about stories. And that's important because Zuri was facing basically an identity question, like, not only who am I, but why is my not? I think she knew who she was, but that had been a gap. Why is my skin different? That
Mhm.
had been something that she had not um, been taught. But at the time she was ready, her grandfather was there to help when she was ready for that lesson, to be her spirit guide and give her that teaching.
Yes, and so he's always present, and I thought that that was important in that lineage of storytelling. Is that he'd say, "I'm the North Star. You might not always see me, but I'm always there. I'm always present," which I
Yes,
thought connects right to Proud Dad. And tell me a
exactly.
little bit about him.
Yes, proud dad. Okay. So, just for the audience, after reading the story, Phil was very excited about the story. And he said, "Hey, I have a question." He's like, "I noticed during the family griot hour that people introduced their names and the meanings of their names, but the dad did not." And I love that because that is very accurate. And there are a lot of words, it's in my book. And when I was during the editing process, I I needed to cut down more words. And I said, you know what? I believe that the dad's has revealed who he is enough that if I have to not give the name and the meaning of anyone's name, it could be the dad. And I'll tell you why. And there is a scene where the dad is the first person in the story who Zuri reveals that her classmate asked her about the color of her skin. Dad wasn't home. He called in to check on her and to say goodnight while he was at work, and she revealed that to him. So that lets us know that he immediately, when he found out she was in bed and it was early and it was a Friday night, he was like, "Hey, what's going on? You're normally
Hmm.
not in." So I wanted to set up that he really sees her, like, not just love her, he sees her, he notices things about her, and that prompts her to open up and tell him, yeah, this happened, this my classmate asked me why my skin is so dark. So the next day he is home for the family. In the morning he's home for the family griot hour, and when it comes time for names, Zuri does a great job of sharing with the group that she knows not only the meaning of her name and her name's connection to her grandmother's names, but she was able to share the meaning of her mom's names. So in response to that, in true form, Dad stands up. What would be typical is to say, well, my name is, but I wanted to show that Dad's focus is on protecting and seeing Zuri. So instead, he says, and I'm proud, Dad, because he's responding to the pride and he's celebrating Zuri for being the smart girl that she is.
That's beautiful.
And so to me,
Yes,
that's what we need to know about him is he is proud
exactly.
dad.
And he's always present. And I also shared with Kimberly that I went back and read a part of the book that I could have sworn he was in the room, even in that scene. And then when I went back and read it, oh no, he's on the phone, but his presence was so felt, and like Kimberly said, like he really saw that something was off, and he didn't let it slip. He even threatened a little violence, which I thought was funny, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm there,
Yes.
and it was so present that I didn't even notice in the little bubble that, oh, he's on the phone. And so I think you did
He's
a
a
really
big
good
Galen
job.
Cisco in that way.
Yes. So you did a great job at really representing that. Now I want
Thank
to
you.
talk to you. Look, because I know it's a little bit late, but I hope you can stay with us a little bit longer.
I
Can you?
can. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
because we do, Pete. We got to get through a few
All right,
things
you got to
with
send me the
Kimberly.
questions.
Yes, don't worry, we'll get through it. Because whenever we have new guests on, we always ask them to play a little game with us, which is the Expat Challenge, which is, oh, not that's my outro music. It's this music right here. It's the Doom music, okay? Because we had such a lovely talk, you know.
Okay.
Okay, so for those that don't know, Kimberly is an author. She's a professor, but she's also a traveler. She's traveled around a lot, and she did spend some time in Brazil. So we're gonna give her a little quiz. Now it's your time to be
All right,
quiz.
send
All
me the
right,
questions, dude.
hi, Pete. I will send it to you. Give me a second, and we're gonna quiz Kimberly and just see how much she remembers about Brazil. Okay, about
Oh
her
my
time here.
goodness. This
So
is audience.
you
This is definitely a pop quiz.
yeah, I know you're the tables have turned. The tables have turned, okay?
Yes.
So Pete, check your WhatsApp, okay? But Kimberly, while I'm doing that, can you answer this question right here? What is the best thing about Brazil?
Vibrance. People are vibrant. The vibrant culture. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
recall people would get up and dance at dinner. Like if there was music, even if it wasn't like live music at that establishment, if they could hear it, it's like the spontaneity and just the energy. If I
Yeah,
had to choose
lame
one
people
word,
would
I would
do
say
it too.
energy.
That's the funny thing.
Which
What was
what?
that,
What did you
Like
say?
Peter?
people, lame people would do it. Like
Yeah,
people who would
absolutely.
never dance
Ah,
anytime, anywhere. Sometimes, like, yeah, no, it's the community.
Pete
So you
means
got to do it.
himself, Kimberly, because I've seen Pete get down here in Sao Paulo,
You have
and I
not. You have not.
yes I have, and my
I
goodness,
want pictures and video, please.
I doubt he was doing that up in
Video
Canada.
or it didn't happen.
Anyway, Peter, ask the second question. Go ahead.
All right. So, what's the worst thing about Brazil?
Oh goodness. Talk about the opposite end.
Yeah, too many
There's the
things to
two
list, right?
extremes. No, no. The worst thing about Brazil, I would say just probably just some of the social inequality, the representation, media representation, police violence, some of the same things that we struggle with in the US.
Okay,
but
so it's basically everything.
well, okay, let me choose one thing. I would say the pay disparity.
Oh
Um,
yes,
All
I would
right.
say that, yeah.
yes, this is pretty bad down here. What is okay your favorite Brazilian food? And you're gonna notice a theme here in these questions. Go ahead.
It's in a big pot. It's a very famous. It has meat. It's a stew. It
Oh,
starts with a P.
feijoada,
Yes,
feijoada.
yes.
Yeah, it's feijoada.
Oh
That's good shit,
man,
man.
have you had any feijoada in the States? Because you can find some good feijoada outside of Brazil.
No, I have not. I would love some. My son actually made the dish himself after we returned. He really loves
Oh, there you
cooking,
go.
and he really
Oh
loved it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah, I am
few.
actually going to try and learn how to make it because it's good. And I think it would actually be more expensive to make it home than it
Yeah.
would be to just buy it at a
Buy it
restaurant.
This is
exactly.
true.
Oh,
This
it
is
looks so
true, and it
delicious.
would take you like all day. But it's one of those dishes
It
that
does. It does.
yes,
I
but it's one
did
of those
a
dishes
class,
you can
a
make.
cooking class while I
Uh huh.
was in Bahia. And but there were so many steps. Luckily I did not keep it up. But after this conversation, I'm gonna look
All
up
right,
where I can
try
buy
it. Try
some.
it. Anyway, Peter, go ahead.
Okay, your least favorite Brazilian food.
Notice a theme.
Right. Okay. Best and least, that's the theme. Okay. Least favorite, I would not recall because I would just never get it again.
Right.
So,
Yes, yes.
yeah. Oh,
Wait,
okay.
you
I
were.
can
Oh,
All
think of
right.
something
Do
okay.
good.
you
Wait,
like
wait, wait,
farofa?
wait. She's remembering one. Let me see. Go ahead.
For okay, I know I'm about to get kicked off the call when I say this, but while I was there, I was just coming out of like being a vegetarian.
Uh
And
huh.
so the meat heavy meals were at the time that was like a lot for me. That was probably my least favorite, not
Mm-hmm.
the a particular food, but just very meat heavy meals.
Yep.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Brazil is a well. We're looking at a very meat heavy dish on the screen right now, and so
Yeah, yeah.
yes, it's tough if you're a vegetarian down here. Now I believe the next question here is, what is your favorite drink down here? What was your favorite drink?
And it doesn't have to be alcoholic.
Yeah.
Oh, but it is.
Okay,
Okay.
those are better, people.
But I okay, so I don't really drink now, but I'm trying
Oh
caparina.
yes, the classic caipirinha,
Yes,
caipirinha,
yes.
which
Sugar overdose.
well, listen, that's the tip I give people all the time. Get
Yeah,
them with
don't get
less
it with
sugar.
sugar.
Don't
But
get
we
them with
got
sugar.
that from Scott Oz, right?
Yes, I gotta give the man credit. That was a great tip, and you won't feel, and you won't get as drunk because the sugar won't go straight to the blood. But yes, these are very delicious, guys. You,
Yes,
you,
very
can,
delicious.
you can have a lot of fun with them. Go ahead, Peter.
All right. So the best place you have visited in Brazil.
Oh my goodness. So many places. So I will just say, um, I was going to say the beach, but I'm just going to say like there was an outdoor party we went to somewhere that was just epic. I don't remember the specific location, but I remember people were dancing in the street, like way outside the club. It was just electric. So I'm going to say a club, and I'm not a clubber, but that scene was just electrifying. So I'm going to say a nightclub in Rio.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Nightclub in Rio. But you know what? That's a good answer because that is going to Rio, just going to parties. So
Yeah.
that is a great answer. Okay, next question is most overrated. You think anything was overrated when you got down here? You're like, yeah, I can't believe I spent all day doing this.
No, I
No.
love doing simple things. So I'd
Hmm.
walk every day to the beach,
Hmm.
and not one day was overrated for me.
Oh, so let me ask you, because what city were you in for the longest down here?
I was in Bahia for the
Oh, you were in
longest. Yeah.
oh, so it wasn't Rio. I thought you okay, so you moved around a little bit. Like what cities did you hit?
So we only lived in um, Sao Paulo for one
Mm,
month, and
yeah, 'cause
then
I remember
Bahia
São
for
Paulo.
5 months.
I see.
And then we visited Rio for 1 week.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but if you're in Bahia, there's very little overrated in Bahia. That makes
Yeah,
all
yeah.
Yeah.
the sense in the world.
Yeah. Nothing is rated.
And I tell you, the prices were great.
Oh yes, this is true. Even for reais, guys, I tell you, when I went to Bahia, I was shocked at how less expensive it is, especially compared to São Paulo. You're like, what? You can get
I
some beachfront hotels for like
absolutely.
100 reais a night. It was like $20 a night or something. In nice places, like $30 for So it's yeah, a
Yeah,
nice
the
place to
cost of
visit.
living was really good.
Yes.
We were able to get like top a funny story. I was teaching online while I lived there,
Mm-hmm.
and one day luckily before I was teaching, there was some type of glitch. So we had the Wi-Fi people come out, and the Wi-Fi person was like, well, I was like, well, how much is it to just get the top of the line, highest speed, fastest Wi-Fi that's available?
Yeah.
And he said, well, it's going to be like more expensive. And I was like, okay, what is it? Like I need to not have any problems because I work online. And he was like, well, it's a bigger price. In the end of the day, it was like an extra $6 US a month. And my son was like, Mom, just act like it's so expensive. And I was just, and so we kind of, my son and I conferred, and then I was like, we'll go ahead, just go ahead and give it to us.
That's great. That's great. And that's such a
Amazing.
well, this was in Bahia, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
because I was
so,
like, this is a very Bahian conversation. Because instead of the guy just giving you the number, he's like, well, it's
right.
expensive. He's like building up to
But
building
I
up the
understand
suspense.
prices are relative, so I get it,
I know
but
for sure, guys. Yeah,
yeah.
because you're thinking in
Yeah.
dollars, and for
I'm
reais, that's a
thinking
big
in
jump.
dollars, and so I'm
'Cause
just like,
how much
yeah,
is that? Like 6 times 6? Like, wait,
right.
is that $6? Well, I don't know. I'm not good with all that conversion, but it's a lot more in reais. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pete, I'm gonna just kind of skip over here to ask her what's the best place. What was the best place to chill in your city of Bahia that you were there?
best place to chill was at a beach.
Hmm.
Yeah.
um, at a beach, but I did enjoy going. I forget the name of the city center. Um,
Is it Perolino?
yes, that's it.
Pelourinho.
Yeah, yeah,
Pelourinho.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the
I
old
miss Brazil.
center.
I can't wait to get back.
Pelourinho. Yeah, this is the historical center. Yeah, that's where you see a lot of
Absolutely.
the famous pictures. Yeah,
Yes,
yes. Which I
that was
thought,
always fun.
I had this real misconception though. I will say this for people that are thinking about going to Salvador one day, that all of Salvador would be like that. And they'd be like, man, it's cute, but I like a little modernity, like sometimes. And you see that you can stay in other places. So I was like, I was in Baja, which is really close. And oh my God, guys, I'm typing with one hand here. There you go. And it's a totally different vibe. So you can definitely have a lot of different Salvadors in Salvador if you're going up there. So like Kimberly said, like the best place to chill is just the beach, and all the beaches are beautiful. And yeah, and that part here of Salvador is a bit more modern. So if you want to just dip your feet in without getting too wet, start there. Anyway, go ahead, Pete. I think it's on you. Did a couple
Well,
of
you
yes,
jumped too actually, but
yes. Go for it.
we are on to your favorite Brazilian musician or band.
Yes, before we close it out.
So there's a song, Mujera, or what's the name of it? It's a famous song. The man who sings it is from Rio,
Mm.
and I have it on my playlist. I can look it up. I may be pronouncing it wrong,
Please, because I'm
but
curious.
I have loved Brazilian jazz forever. Like that's was one of the reasons I wanted to visit Brazil, like from when I was a teenager. So bossa nova, I
Hmm.
really love bossa nova. So, but the music in Bahia and just throughout Brazil is very amazing. I love it.
Yes, and Salvador is probably one of the most musical cities. I mean, all of Brazil is musical, but I don't know. I'd say probably Rio and Salvador take the cake as like these two very musical cities where you turn a corner and there's a party going on, there's music going on,
Well,
and
Sao
you
Paulo
can't escape
too.
it. Yeah, but like we were talking the other week, you can escape it a little bit in Sao Paulo. I think Kimberly got knocked out there a little bit, but in those cities, Pete, trust me, it's like you just get out the door and it's like boom. Salvador even more. It's a very musical place. We'll see if Kimberly is able to get back on. There was a weird sound there, so maybe.
It was a crackling sound.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So, guys, I hope you're enjoying the conversation. We're just about to close out. We're just gonna ask her. We're just gonna ask her for some general, you know, tips or whatever. Last message, not necessarily Brazil related when she comes back. But guys, next week, soccer. See how much Pete knows about
Oh God.
soccer. Who's Pete's
Yeah, I
favorite soccer
know. I
player?
know. The bakery in my neighborhood is like actually selling cups
Oh,
for your team. Blah blah blah. Oh my
Rangers.
God! Like, and I'm
Hello.
like, oh my God! I've been here this long. I've been here for like 4 World Cups, man.
I know,
Four
time
World
flies.
Cups.
Time
I
flies. Miss
Yeah.
Kimberly, she's back. How are you? Listen, we wanted to close out asking you, okay, because she's having a bit of an audio issue there. Hopefully, she'll get back on soon.
Okay, can you hear me?
Well, kind of.
More
You
or
sound a
less.
bit
It's a bit distorted.
Androidish. Yeah, distortion would be the correct word. Try again. Do you have headphones on? It might cut it out. Oh, it stopped. There you go. Oh no, it stopped because she got knocked out a little bit. So, as we were saying, Yeah, time flies. And I don't know, Pete, what's your perception? Because for me, it seems like every year it's less and less people are like into this. They're like, whatever. I think,
Well, it's not so much about how much people are into it. It's about like the excuse they use to get out of work, right?
yes,
Which
this is true.
and getting out of work means getting out of class, which means
Yes.
I make less money when the World Cup is on. That's
Uh,
basically what happens. So I actively root for Brazil to lose, right? The sooner they lose, the sooner I get back to making money.
I get you. I totally get you with that. Let's see. Did you get it, Kimberly? Let's see if she's got.
Are you
Uh,
able to?
Let me try to stop sharing everything and see if that helps. Uh, yeah, you're very distorted. It's like it's like you went on the galaxy trip.
Exactly. I'm visiting the
Yes.
galaxy now.
Damn, that sounds weird, man. That's some
Yeah, it's
Star Wars
weird.
shit.
Yeah, it's very Star Wars-ish, Star War-ish, but I love it.
Well,
Any,
what
anyway,
I
you know
can
what you
try.
can do? Look, wait, call me on WhatsApp. I've done this before, live on the air. Okay, just call me straight on WhatsApp, and I'll put the microphone, I'll
I
put the
would.
cell phone right up to the mic, so we just can just finish out. So let's try it that way. We've done it before. Technology, when it's live, people, anything could happen. Anything. Say what, say
Ain't
what, say
that the
what.
truth?
And it does. But at least our internet's been very good and the audio's been very good as of late. Let's see. I hope we can hear Kimberly. Let me try to get her right up to the microphone. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
All right,
Yeah,
Peter, can
perfect.
you hear her?
Perfect.
I'm
Perfect.
gonna turn
Perfect.
this mic up as high as possible. So, Kimberly, we wanted to close out the show. Asking you one more question from our little expat challenge, which
Sure.
is
Yes.
any advice that you'd give, not just to travelers but also just in general, like what's a last message that you want to give for your book, but also just people that want to go out and explore the world, because as an adult you can still have that sense of wonder that your characters have, the young people have. It's totally possible, and
Absolutely.
traveling is one way that you can express that. So give us a few words about that.
Definitely travel and read. I see them
Oh
as
my god.
connected. For example, a really vivid story takes you on a type of travel into the world of whatever the character's name is. So, in the case of my book, Stars in My Skin, I hope that the story is one that people can relate to, they can enjoy, they can learn from. So, yes, please travel, please read, because we can't travel everywhere, but I would encourage people to try to read books from different cultures, because it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a way of getting an insight into other worlds, into another person's world and worldview and way of looking at the world.
Hmm.
That,
Other than that, I would also like
mhm.
to let listeners know that I also have a coloring and activity book that's a companion book to Stars in My Skin. And in addition to coloring pages, it also, and each of the coloring pages includes scientific facts. And then there are also affirmations and learning reflection questions for the children. And it also has a teacher's guide in it as well for intentional mentors, parents, neighbors who want to take the learning beyond the coloring pages into the real world. So both books are available on Amazon, but I'm looking into partnering with some bookstores to get the book available in Brazil as well.
Oh, that would be so wonderful. And guys, I've been sharing the screen all night with the Amazon page and Kim's Instagram page. So please reach out to her there if you want to get a hold of this book. It's Kid Possible Press. And I've been sharing the Amazon link, and you can find all of that. She's got a link tree and everything on her Instagram page, so that can get you to the Amazon page for the book. And it's a beautiful book, and I want to thank you for sharing it with me and Pete, because
Yes.
it was a special book. You know, it really was touching. And your
Yeah,
own.
and
Go ahead.
one thing about
I
this
was just going to
is
say,
that
they can also get the book from my website, which is www.kidpossiblepress.com.
Oh, good.
And they can also get merchandise from that site as well.
Let me
all
share
right.
that
That's
on the
good to hear.
screen. I got
But
it.
yeah,
Go ahead, Peter.
one thing I really appreciated about this is that
So I know that part of it is being
Oh,
updated,
oh.
so hopefully it's
You know, one second. I know what it is,
okay.
because you can't hear Pete now. So Pete just wanted to say something real quick. I'm going to switch him
Okay.
to Pete. Before you
Thank you.
speak,
All right.
before you
Thank you,
speak,
Phil.
give me just 1 second. Can you hear me, Kim?
I can, yes.
All right, just give me a second. Let me put Peter on speaker so you'll hear him, because he wants to say something to you. All right? Give me a
Okay.
second. Give me a second, because it's like a lot of stuff happening at once here. All right, Pete, let me
all
see.
right. So yeah, I think one of the greatest powers of the written word is the ability to put people in another person's shoes. And I think you did a really good job of doing that. You made people see things from another person's perspective, which is, I think, the greatest duty of a writer. Um, I'm I try to be a writer myself. I don't do it as much as I should, but I try. And yeah, the main thing is to kind of get people to see things from your perspective. And you did a good job of that. So thank you.
I think I muted myself. There you go. Can guys, it happens sometimes. It can be complicated doing a live show here in Brazil. It's like Kim's story about getting that really good internet. We finally got it, but sometimes, things can go haywire. Pete is
Yes.
finally back on, just to say goodnight. I know Kim couldn't hear him, but I hope you understood his message, which is basically like, you did a great job at just allowing different perspectives to be seen and heard, and he appreciates that. I know Pete. That's why he's my co-host, because he's always gives a different perspective and things that are a bit unexpected. And he's back on.
Great.
All right, so guys, I'm gonna end the night. Um, Please reach out to Kim. I got Kim Possible Press there on the screen. Pete's there in the background. And I just want to say thank you, everyone that listens to the Brazil Expat Journal, everybody that follows the page, that supports the show. The show just keeps growing and growing and growing, and we're really putting our heart and everything into it. Like I said, next week we are going to talk a little bit of soccer and, get ready for the World Cup. Are you excited for the World Cup, Kim?
I am. I'm glad. I sure would love to be in Brazil and watching some soccer there. But yes, I am excited.
Yes, that's going to be a great, 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 great time. So, guys, thank you. And we will see each other next week.